Hi, boys and girls. It's Miss Hughes with you here today. We are going to be looking at how acid rain affects some of these rocks that we have out in front of us. We're going to be making some observations first about the rocks. And then after that, we're going to be adding some vinegar to these to show our acid rain. Last week, we looked all at physical changes that happened when Miss Delisandro was shaking for a really long time and her hand was getting super sore, right? That was a physical change. And this week, we're going to be looking at how some chemical changes happen. So there's this thing called acid rain that can affect the environment or the rocks that we have nearby. So we'll be adding some vinegar with our syringe today, and we'll be looking at what happens to these rocks as we add vinegar. And then we're going to let them sit and evaporate. My goodness, it's loud out there. And we'll be looking at some more things there. So I'm going to bring these rocks up to you so you can see them. Sorry, my hands have marker all them. I was working on something. This rock is dark in color. I will be taking some pictures. It has some speckles. There's even like a little shiny spot right here. My goodness. But if we look this rock, maybe I can turn the light on. This rock is kind of gray and black with some speckled on here. So that is our basalt we just looked at. Let's look at some limestone. If we look, it's pretty flat looking. It's gray in color with some pretty almost like marbling here, but it's not all just the same. It looks like there's like a line down the middle here. It's a smooth texture feeling. It's almost like a soft rock. So that is limestone. We have marble next. Marble is this beautiful white we see. It's kind of shiny, it sparkles. When I flip it around, it's really beautiful in color. Then I have this sandstone here. It is kind of rough. It almost feels like someone glued sand to our limestone here. And it's kind of got some edges on it, and it's almost taking a certain shape. It is too speckled. It looks like our sand at the beaches in San Diego. We can see some oranges, we can see some shinier particles, and we can also see some other colors in there. So go ahead and talk with your teacher right now about some of the observations that you saw just about each dish, not each dish, each rock that you just saw. I'm going to pause this and I'm going to go ahead and put in some vinegar and see what happens in these vials, okay? All right, boys and girls, I am back here with you. I took the syringe and I filled up 25 milliliters of vinegar in here. And each vial, you will see, has the exact same amount. I'm going to go ahead and move my document camera so you can see what is happening when I do this. I'll move this back. We, if you can see, are working with basalt first. That is the first one we are going to be working with. And let's see what happens when we put this rock in. So if you see here, not much is happening. There are some tiny bubbles forming around the basalt, but not much happened when we put the basalt into this container today. Okay, I will be taking a picture so you can see what is happening after this. So you can see some small bubbles forming, but nothing really else. Okay, we'll go ahead and put the limestone in now. if you look really, really closely, we do see some bubbles coming off. That can sometimes indicate that we are having a chemical reaction. I know it's difficult to see, but there are small bubbles coming off of this rock. I'm trying to put the white behind it so you guys can see, but we see some bubbles coming off there. Okay, I'm going to move the basalt and the limestone over to my right. Okay, this is now the marble. I know it says limestone over there. It's just where I had it on my paper. Oops, that one dropped in. It's difficult to see this rock in here, but I do not see many bubbles coming off. You can see it's kind of just forming a few on top, but this does not seem to be producing the same chemical reaction here. Let me go ahead and show you what was happening to our limestone again. We can see it almost looks like a can of soda with all the bubbles coming off. And then last but not least, we have sandstone. I hope this fits. In sandstone, we again don't see much happening in here. Sandstone kind of is just filling our container. The only one that was really producing a lot of bubbles was our limestone. So if you see, I'm going to go ahead and put caps on these, you guys. And I'm going to go ahead and when we come back next time together, we are going to look and see what happens to these rocks when they are put in the makeshift acid rain. Okay, I will take a picture so you can better look at our vials that we have here. Oopsie, sorry about that. So I will take a picture of the vials that you can see here. You can kind of see that limestone is the one that is gray, and it is still some bubbles are producing off of it. And we just really have some bubbles on top of our marble. Okay, we're going to be looking at these again very soon. So write down your observations with your teacher, and thank you for doing science with me.